Hey guys, Dale here. Finally playing Rimworld again. Uh, Deprecating the Valisgard playthrough that we were playing previously. It's actually been a couple months. I've been so busy. I came back to the playthrough, and with the update and the IDO expansion, it's just kind of a mess to deal with. So I've kind of recreated it, and we're doing a reboot, and we're going to call this one Valegard. Kind of similar, but really similar idea for the playthrough. So we are going to be a mixed race kingdom of humans and elves. We have tons of add-ons that I'll kind of like talk through as we encounter content from them. In addition to just like normal quality of life stuff like blueprints and more planning. Some of the bigger mods that we have are Medieval Overhaul and Rimdeval. So those are the two things that will limit our tech and make the world more of this medieval fantasy style playthrough that we're going to do. Of course, we have Rimworld of Magic, so we will have magic colonists. We are playing with both royalty and ideology. And I've made a few changes. So we have Lord of the Rim, dwarves, and elves still, similar to how we did in Valisgard. But those pawns and all the equipment that come with them is a bit much. I feel like the elf bows are really overpowered. So pretty much we just have those for like the Malorn Forest, furniture, some of the structures. I've disabled the factions and the races themselves. And I've replaced our elven race with the night elves, high elves, and blood elves from Rimcraft. We have the Draenei as a faction and race from that mod as well, but I've disabled the orcs and some of the other things. There isn't a mod setting for that, so for both the Lord of the Rims and the Rimcraft mod, I had to go and modify the mods themselves. But we also have Forgotten Realms, which doesn't come with its own factions, but it does integrate a lot of fantasy races into the other factions. And Forgotten Realms comes with its own set of orcs. It also has half orcs. So there's just like a little bit more robustness there. When it comes to like getting immersed in our fantasy world and having fantasy races. We will do babies again. So we have like babies and children. We also have the pregnancy mod, children's school and learning. We have accelerated their age growth. We've pretty much just like maxed it all out till they're adults. So they'll age like pretty rapidly. Like I think they'll be able to do work as children by the end of their like first year in the colony, and they might be approaching adulthood by their second year. It's pretty quick. The other thing that we've done with the babies and children's mod is babies and children, not babies and children, with the children's school and learning mod, is it has a neat feature where you can actually select a result for like a hybrid species mating. So the elves that we will initially like have in our colony will be night elves. And what I've configured children's school and learning to do is when a night elf and a human have a child, the child will actually be a high elf. And then we do have blood elves. They don't have their own faction. We have the mod for drow, so dark elves. So I figured if a high elf and a drow have a child, it would be a blood elf. We aren't really doing like World of Warcraft lore or anything like that. I just really like the models that they have. Like the night elves have these like huge, amazing ears. They have like really long eyebrows. The high elves themselves look a little bit more human, so they still have long ears, but they're not as wide. Their skin tones are more human-like rather than the night elves that are like purples and blues and things like that. And then blood elves look like the high elves, but they have green eyes, so there's like a little bit of corruption there. So I think it fits in really well with our playthrough. Mods that kind of like adjust events, we have like let's go explore or go explore, whatever it's called. We have the Witcher monsters mod, so there will be quests to go out and defeat monsters. And oh my gosh, we also have faction war, so we might have factions coming onto our map and warring with each other, and we might be able to like pick up some prisoners to convert to our ideology and maybe integrate into our colony. So lots of stuff going on as we come across like new things that I haven't explained. I'll do my best to explain them, but I have gone ahead and started a colony. Pretty much just like created all the plans, got them to equip their weapons. They have basically just spawned into the map, and they're ready to like haul things over. And then I will take better care to make sure that we don't have any issues with this playthrough, kind of like getting into disrepair like we did with Valisgard. So I'll make sure that we stay on version 1.3.3159. I'm like looking at the corner right here. That is a setting in Steam that we can just make sure that the game itself doesn't update. And then I have gone ahead and created like local copies of all the mods. So updates to those mods shouldn't impact our playthrough at all. I'm pretty excited to have like a long running playthrough. And another kind of like cornerstone of this playthrough will be faction manager, which allows us to go create a new settlement, and then we can unload that settlement. So it's basically like we can stick the settlement in stasis and just play one settlement at a time. So Valegard will be the primary settlement that I play here on YouTube, and then I'm pretty sure we will go and settle some other settlement, and I'll play that primarily on Twitch. I'll put those Twitch VODs here on YouTube. They'll just be like longer, uncut, maybe boring at times. Whereas for YouTube, I do like to kind of like pause the recording and let things run until something interesting happens, or come back to the recording when I feel like we've accomplished something or I have something to say. And potentially there might be a colony that we decide to do a spin-off series from this. I'm thinking in particular about a very specific colonist and a very specific ideology. So let's hop into the game. I'll introduce you to our characters. I'll show you our base plans, and then I'll run through the ideologies that I've created for this world. In our colony, we currently have 2 of them, but I did implant a 3rd one that is potentially going to be a spin-off series to this. So let's load game. Another thing is I will go ahead and like publish like a mod list somewhere. All these mods that I've gotten are off of Steam. Like I said, I did go and manually edit some of them though, so my playthrough might be a little bit different from yours if you use that mod list without making those edits. And so I've created a few different saves here that I'll also post for you guys if you want to pick up those mods and then grab one of these starting scenarios. So Valegard Fresh Start is literally, they've just landed, haven't issued them any orders. I don't think they've even like picked up their weapons yet. Valegard Start Plans is at a point where I've had them equip their weapons, and I've also done all the base planning with the More Planning tool. So you can like follow along building with me, or maybe we can build the same thing but build it differently. Like there are so many options for where in the base you could start building. And Valegard Start is the one that we're going to load right now. So if you look at this list, it's pretty extensive. We have like all the vanilla extended stuff that seems relevant for this type of colony. We have Rim Fantasy Crystal Lighting and Gemstones and Temperature Regulation. We'll use that for creating our fridge. Tons of stuff going on here. Okay, so here's our crew. We'll go ahead and get started. We'll just go left to right from the bar up here. So first up is Tyrion. Tyrion Artos. He's going to be our king. And actually, I didn't even give them titles yet. So he's our king. He is excellent at construction. He's excellent at crafting, and he is a paladin. So if we look at magic here, he'll be able to just have this aura, ray of hope, that increases moods, I think randomly, for pawns that are next to him. So if anyone spends any time around him, they will have a good mood. We haven't toggled that on yet, but at some point we will. Arshana. So this is Arshana Artos. She is our queen. So she and Owen are married. So if we look at social here, we have Tyrion, and her brother is actually in the colony. And her mother-in-law, of course, is Felba, makes a return from Valisgard, because I had plans for her. Very, very dark plans for her. So Arshana is a great shot. She's a night elf. That's kind of their thing. They are a matriarchal warrior society. But they're also a society that has high reverence for the moon and has deep spirituality. She is excellent at, well, not excellent. What is this? She has burning passion, and she's a weak professional for medical, but a 7 is I think pretty good starting off. She also has a burning passion for intellectual, so she'll be doing a lot of research for us. She is nobility. We're not going to make her do very much grunt work by default. Felba Artos. Arshana is a arcane mage, so she can blink and magic missile. The thing that I love about arcane mages is they use blink on cooldown, so when they are going from spot to spot, they'll actually use blink to travel large distances, and you can see it's a pretty good circle. I think we can also enhance this as well. Is it distance, recharge time, casting time, and range? Cool. Felba Artos, she is our queen mother. She was married to the king before he died or passed, whatever happened to him. But Tyrion's the current ruler. So Felba is a necromancer. She has the ability to raise dead and to cast an AoE to create a fog of torment that can down pawns and even kill them if they hang out in it too long. Her ultimate ability is Lich Form, which I think disables a lot of work types for her, but gives her the ability to fly and shoot a death bolt. I think she's basically undead. She might be able to resurrect herself. Liches are pretty wild, and we'll see if she has reason to go down that dark path. Next is Narek. He is a druid, so he can cure diseases. He can also do a poison right off the bat. Have to get some points so that we can do regenerate, which he can cast on colonists to kind of heal them over time. Cure disease is pretty amazing. It gets rid of the flu. It gets rid of all kinds of stuff. We do have to level up his disease knowledge in order for him to be able to cure those things. So right now he can cure flu and wound infections. If we level it up, he can cure gut worms, food poisoning, and malaria. Next level is sleeping sickness, muscle parasites, and scaria. Oh, that's pretty awesome if we get an animal with scaria that we would want to tame or something. And the last level is the plague and blood rot. So he'll end up being pretty powerful. Pellis is a ranger. So he has heightened skill with an arrow, bow and arrow. He also has this arrow storm ability where he just fires a stream of arrows at his target. He can put down a poison trap, and he can also bond with an animal to instantly tame it. This bonding does have some levels to go up in order to be able to bond with wilder and wilder animals, and can only be bonded with one animal at a time. And then this bonding also gives them buffs, so moving, manipulation, blood pumping, dodge. It's pretty nice. Our next colonist is Everett. Oh, and Everett is Arshana's brother. So Everett's Starcaller and Pellis is Pellis Farlight. Everett is a sniper. So he has like an anti-armor shot. He can do a head shot. And he has a disabling shot, which will like down upon. So if there's someone that we like catches our eye, we should be able to like down them with one shot and hopefully not do too much damage to them. And then all of his abilities are all about like increasing his proficiency with like ranged attacks and then buffing these abilities. Next is Braum. Braum's Swordbreaker. He is going to be part of our guard. He is a bladesman. Face Storm is kind of like a warrior blink. So he can... It is a warrior blink, but I think when he blinks in, he does damage if he has a target there. But he can use that on cooldown as well, just like autonomously. So he'll use it to like get around the map and all that fun stuff. He is so Berserker, and then just melee attacks, all that fun stuff. And higher on melee, medical, good soldier all around. Thoreau, he is a warrior of some sort, a gladiator. Oh, actually, we're going to turn grapple off, but we're going to turn sprint on. So turning sprint on will give him like a buff, and he'll just like constantly be moving faster. It does lower his max stamina, so I think he'll be down to like 80 out of 80. So there's less power for him to use in combat, but he is a fighter that like will want to like control when we're in melee range doing melee damage with him. So we can do this whirlwind eventually. I think he just default does cleaves, and we can just like upgrade that cleave ability. And this grapple is a hook. Basically, he can like pull someone in from ranged and bring them into melee range to start beating on them. So Theron is like a guy that we might put in a group of melee pawns, have him pull in an enemy, and then that group of melee pawns can just like beat on them. Theron does have a relationship. He is lovers with Anissa, who's next. So Anissa Cruz, just plain old pawn, no powers. She is going to be our crafter, our weaver, and do all kinds of other stuff for us. And Olivia is our final pawn, Olivia Nightingale. She will be primarily doing plants, might be collecting things from animals for us. So that's it for kind of like introductions here. I will show you guys, we do have 2 ideologies in the colony. So if we look at social, you are not supposed to be that. You are supposed to be something else. But so our primary ideology is supposed to be Arcane Order. So I might have to fix that off screen. But Arcane Order is esoteric is the structure, and then we added a bunch of these like different style categories just because I liked some of the furniture from these things, or flooring or whatever. But the Arcane Order is collectivist. They are the Dryad tree connection focus. So this is a mod that changes this like tree connection to specifically be about dryads. So we won't have any problems chopping down wood. And then Transcendent is from a Rimworld of magic. And so this allows us to venerate magic. We could abhor magic or be neutral about it, but venerating magic gives colonists like good thoughts for seeing magic be done, seeing mages in their colony, being a mage, and it gives them bad thoughts for like, I killed a mage or we killed a mage. We have a mage in slavery or in the prison or whatever. So I'm pretty excited about that. And Psi Focus. So Psi Focus requires the best Psi caster in the colony to be leader. So with Tyrion, we will be converting him to the Arcane Order, but we will also be doing royalty things with him. So we are looking to make alliances. We are 10 people right now who have escaped a cataclysm and need allies out in the world. So I'll show you guys the world, and I'll talk a little bit about like the backstory that's in my head for this colony and why they've landed in this new land when we get there. So the other stuff about Arcane Order, increased tent quality, permanent base is desired. So they'll get moods based on how many buildings we have in the colony. I just like whacked my mouse across the map. So when there are tons of buildings, they'll consider it a magnificent city, and we'll have like a +20. So more than 20 buildings. I'm gonna have to like count what's in my plans because I'm not sure. 20 is a ton of buildings. Deconstruct yield high. You know, I thought that went well with kind of like desire for a permanent base. Collectivism, I think, increases our work drive as well. And then we have the option for very fast research. I figured we're going to have a night elf doing our research. The Arcane Order is an order full of mages who study. So I figured that they would be good at doing research. Psi Focus also makes meditation 20% per day bonus and gives us Psi Focus gain. So Psi Focus is basically like doubled. All this stuff is like pretty standard. So men's names when we get married, violence is acceptable, death is normal, or there's a normal reaction to it. Neutral on like other races, and diversity of thought is appreciated. So we won't have any problems with having multiple ideologies in the colony. Leader is going to be the Arcane Sovereign. Void Seeker is a new role that comes from a Rimworld of Magic. And basically this Void Seeker, we're going to call it our Archmage, but they are involved in a couple of the rituals. Our moral guide is our mystic guide, and our research specialist is the High Alchemist. Rituals. So these three are from a Rimworld of Magic, part of the Transcendent meme. Arcane Sever is basically the Archmage takes magical gifts away from people. So if there's someone who we don't think deserves being a mage anymore, we can do an Arcane Sever and cut their connection from magic. This will upset our colonists because we do venerate magic in this colony. Bestow magic is called Mana Well. Arcane Severing Mana Well. And so basically there's a trait for colonists that are able to become mages that's called magically gifted, and there's a trait for colonists that are able to become like physically gifted, like to become gladiators and bladesmen and stuff, and that's physically adept. Bestow magic, if the ceremony is successful, adds the magically gifted trait to a colonist. So that means that they would be able to like pick up a tome or book and learn a magical spell if we had the right kind of like book. So either one that we've crafted with a lot of resources or one that we've purchased. The other way to grant them magic is with this Arcane Path ceremony, which we're calling Arcane Infusion. This will, if successful, give a magically gifted colonist, convert them into some kind of mage. And so it's completely random unless your magically gifted colonist has an inspiration that's from a Rimworld of Magic. So a magically gifted colonist can have an inspiration that's like, I want to be a fire mage, And I'm not 100% certain because my Arcane Infusion was on cooldown when I was playtesting it, but I'm pretty certain that if we did it, then they would have become a fire mage. Otherwise, the time that I did do this, it just like randomly assigned them a mage class. So we'll see if we can verify that. We call our funerals the grieving of mysticism. Our Sky Lantern Festival is called a Dragon's Call, and it can happen anytime. And this will call a venerated animal, which you can see we venerate the Stormcutter. And so Stormcutter is from Race to the Rim, which is basically how to train your dragon type mod. There are a few different dragons that come from that. We'll be trying to collect like a couple Stormcutters just to have like good thoughts about having a venerated animal around the colonists. They also have like a flamethrower ability, so they might be good for defense. And then Social Festival is called the, oh god, I can't even like, I don't know why I called it that. I should have just called it like the Dryad Jubilee. Garanlin. What is Garanlin? Whatever. Garanlin Jubilee. And this, if the Social Festival is good, then we might get a seed pod so that we can plant another druid tree. So down here we have some relics. You can see the buildings that are associated with the ideology, and then no tattoos. The other ideology in our colony is called Military Doctrine. And so this one is a collectivist ideology. It is a hedonism structure, the same styles or similar styles to what the rest of our colony has, so our furniture doesn't mismatch. But they are raiders, so that we could get the shooting specialist and melee specialist. That felt like it was important for kind of like the military arm of our kingdom. And so my idea around having this military doctrine ideology was we had to adhere, like, to customize these kingdoms ideology, we had to adhere to like some of the things that they required. I think they required raider or supremacist, and I think supremacist and collectivists might disagree, or republic. I can't remember, but we went with raider. Ratings respected, not required. And we're also a republic. So we actually get 3 leaders for this colony, and we'll take a look at that down there. We did kind of like relax them a little bit. Like, they don't care about tattered or tainted apparel. We did want them to still have some of the same values. So they want a permanent base. The rest of this stuff is as close to the Arcane Order as we could get. We didn't give them like increased research speed or anything like that. But like, alien races is neutral. Diversity of thought is like appreciated. Slavery is acceptable for these guys, because I think acceptable or more extreme is what's required by Raider. But down here, we have the first leader will be the High Lord, and we won't actually have a High Lord, at least in this colony, because our leader is going to be the Arcane Sovereign. So that'll actually like blank out this, make it not available for us to have one. But we will have a second and third triumvirate. So we've called those the Ranger General and the Captain of the Guard. Their moral guide is the War Counselor. Melee Specialist is First Lieutenant. Shooting Specialist is High Ranger. Funerals are called Soldier's Valediction. Symbol burning, we call the Flames of War, and this actually taunts an enemy to come attack us. Festivities of Ancient Battle is our social festival, and this will, if successful, show us an ancient complex. Sky Lantern Festival is War Day. I think this one also taunts our enemies. And then we have a gladiator duel that we call the Recruiter's Ring. So if there are a couple of prisoners that we can't decide like which one we should keep, we might have them go ahead and duel and then recruit the one that's victorious, throw the other one back in like the stockade. Or maybe we're deciding between whether a prisoner comes to the military doctrine or the Arcane Order. And the winner of a hand-to-hand combat seems like they would be part of the military doctrine, whereas the loser might be a better candidate for Arcane Order. And then, as required by hedonism, we also have an orgy ritual, which is called Victory is Life. It's really funny that we have an orgy ritual because I think I accidentally made, love like strict or mildly strict. Diversity of Thought Corpse. Marriage, women, violence. Huh. Oh, physical love, free and approved. Never mind. Okay. Super weird. Okay. Kneel sheet, Marauder's Totem for effigy burning, Unified Chancel as their whatever their altar. I think that was just like a default name. I must have just misnaming it. We have some of their relics here, and they also venerate Stormcutters, but they don't have a way to call a venerated animal. And then, potentially, this is another ideology I customized for this world that we might use in one of our settlements, but we'll have to see. It's called the Cult of Dark Whispers. It is Eldritch Cult. Eldritch Cult is the structure, and then they have style categories of Eldritch Cult, Morbid, and Spike Core. Their memes are violent conversion, God Emperor, our leader must be worshipped as a living god, flesh crafting, technology should be shunned unless it serves the flesh, only through extreme biological experimentation may we unlock our hidden potential. So this allows, this requires scarification, body modifications only biological. We can harvest organs post-mortem. They don't care about death. They don't care about corpses. So really gruesome. And then they also believe in insectoid supremacy. So this is as dark and creepy as you think it is, right? So scarification, godlike leaders, slavery is honorable, really bad stuff. Their leader is the high priest or priestess. Their moral guide is the steward of secrets. Research specialist is the dark apothecary. Flesh crafter. Insect hoarder is the locust handler. Funerals called insectoid dreaming. Scarification is tribute to the dark ones. Social festival is festival of the Gehennoth, which is their venerated animal. So that will call one if successful. And then it requires these 3 rituals. So incantation, which basically increases a new corruption need that these colonists will have, specifically the ones that are part of an ideology that has an Eldritch Cult structure. If it's successful, it increases their corruption by 10%. If their corruption goes over 100%, I think they have a mental break. Insectoid the ritual will refresh the cooldown of insectoid herders, construct a nest ability. If the ritual gets the best possible result, it will make any insectoids currently assaulting the colony flee. Except the Black Hive. Excuse me, I just got the hiccups. So it sounds like the insectoid herder can construct insect nests as well as tame these insects. So that's pretty wild. And then violent conversion is, of course, required by our violent conversion meme. That is another thing that's been added. I said that we added a lot of vanilla expanded stuff. I think there is vanilla expanded ideology and memes and all that fun stuff, or at least a lot of the crew that works on that vanilla expanded stuff I think worked on that set of mods, the ideology sets. But yeah, we have a ton of different memes and precepts and all that other stuff that's been added by mods. That's so exciting. Ritual seating is Kneel Pillow. Eldritch Sanctum is their altar. Dark Commandments is the statue that they want. They have some relics, a venerated animal, and they basically use most of the tattoos as normal. So anyhow, oh my gosh, I've been talking for 34 minutes. I haven't even shown you guys the base yet. Okay, so let's take a look here. Planning, we'll reveal our plans. You can see some of them now, but we are on a 275 map by 275, so just one step up from the default size. And pretty much like this is our primary base. All the white here is actually just pathing. So these will be roads, and outside of our base, these will be dirt roads. And so I figured we'd do some like dirt roads just to make our walk speed to some of these external areas a little bit quicker. And probably like late game here in these like diamond shapes, I was thinking we'd build like 3 structures and like role play that they're like watchtowers. And then my other thought is like if we have someone like out here hunting and we get raided, and the raid is like much closer to our like a large base that's like in the bottom left quadrant of the map, it would be nice to have like little safe houses around to like have people run to instead of like try and run through a raid that's assaulting our base. With that being said, the white is paths, so inside, and the black will be walls. The orange is doors, so we'll have some like gates, gatehouses, doors to buildings. But yeah, so like on the inside of the black, the inside of our city walls, we'll probably start off with dirt roads, but eventually we'll pave these in like some finer stone and stuff. Ooh, that looks a little funky right there. But yeah, so we do have like 2 gatehouses right here. We kind of have like this more like 2 entrances right here. We'll leave these doors open, hoping to lure raiders to come all this way instead of like trying to break into the gatehouses. And then this structure and this structure right here will be embrasures and a place for us to like hang out and shoot at them. So kind of going clockwise, you can see that we have like some green over here that's meant to represent like our crop fields. So that'll be kind of like our farming area. It's kind of hard to see here. Well, I guess that's as like dark as it goes. There's like a structure here, but we have some like row housing right here. So these are going to be individual bedrooms. The pink represents a bed and a nightstand and a dresser. Pink typically represents like furniture in these rooms, and then red will be fireplaces, blue will be like coolers, like the wood coolers or whatever, and so we'll like turn those off and on as we need for various seasons. This is going to be our tavern, so this is like a little bar area with stools, a bunch of individual tables or gaming tables, a place for like storing some food in the tavern. This will be our cookhouse, so food storage here in the purple. We'll do butchering in one of these rooms, and we'll do cooking, lots of cooking in the other one of these rooms. Down here we have like some proper houses, like with a couple bedrooms each, and little dining tables, heating and cooling. Down here is gonna be like a chapel, arcane research, that kind of stuff. This crescent moon is actually going to be our keep. So you can see I've like started putting up some wood walls here, or I at least queued it up. These guys haven't really moved. This will be our throne room. We'll have a grand dining room in here. We have a bunch of bedrooms for the royal family or other potential nobles. And then all this green will be like gardens. So gardens in front of the keep, like a main courtyard, kind of very close to our main entrance. Over here we have a barracks, and then here we'll have our hospital and prison hospital. A couple more houses, a little lake. This is going to be our animal pen, so kind of like a little ranch and a barn. These two buildings, I haven't decided on what they'll be yet. I'm thinking that they're going to be for some ideological stuff. And this is actually going to be our graveyard, so there'll be a little fence around it, a little gate right there. Looks like we don't have a path marked for it, so we'll do that. Individual graves, dirt paths to walk through, and then this is like an actual structure that we'll put some like sarcophaguses in, so like a little shrine for maybe some of our more important colonists if we end up losing them. So that is planning on the base. Tons going on, and then I will show you guys the world. So tons of factions on this world. If we look at it, so many. I pretty much like hit 2 on everything, almost. We have factions that are medieval that have come from the medieval overhaul mod, so that's what these icons are. And then we have factions from the vanilla expanded medieval mod, and that's what those icons are. Our base icon is also the same thing. I'm not sure where the other ones are. Oh, they're down here. Cool. Like pretty sparse area over here. There was some editing that I did do on this map with World Edit. So one of the things that I did was I tried to eliminate like Malorn Forest from most of the map, because they're usually just sprinkled as like one individual tile of Malorn Forest, and it looks super, super weird. So I actually created like these rich, big areas for Malorn Forest that are like in interesting parts of the world. So this forest I named Dawn Glen. This forest, so this like little valley here, it was tropical swamp and tropical rainforest, and then this was arid shrubland, and so I just converted the arid shrubland into Malorn Forest and called it the Malorn Plateau. There is a golden wood over here, and the elfwood here, and this like little kingdom is actually in the elfwood. And then the last Malorn Forest that we have is the Majestic Glade. Oops, I need to like delete that extra name there. In addition to Malorn Forest, that comes from Lord of the Rim, the elves. Oh, it looks like I missed some of them as well. Whatevs, not a big deal. They're like sprinkled everywhere. We do have regrowth and some additional biomes from that. So we have like these grasslands. We have this alpine meadow. We have this cloud forest. I think like we have a marsh here, and vanilla temperate swamp. We have this coastal dunes and sandbars. So there are a couple other places we have like sandbars or coastal dunes. And then from the medieval overhaul mod is actually like the dark forest, and I think there's actually some extra events and extra like monster things that happen there. So that's kind of like what our world looks like. I knew that this planet kind of like generated with this like mountain range here that like opened up into some forests and stuff, so I used this seed to get that to happen. But then with World Edit, I did diversify the biomes here, just so that we could maybe experience some different biomes as we like go and settle in other places, because I want this like little cutaway valley. It's the reason why I'm calling this like Kingdom in the Vales, is that like there are essentially like 5 valleys here, right? So there's this like temperate forest valley, there is this aspen forest valley, and that's where we've settled. There's a valley over here in like the Misty Glen, That's Cloud Forest, kind of a valley here in the Majestic Glade, and then a valley in this Whispering Wood. And so, yeah, that's kind of it for the world. The reason, kind of lore-wise, for me that this like colony has like ventured into the Autumn Vale to kind of like establish itself is that these humans and elves actually like lived together for like a really long time, like on an island over here. So there was like a tribe of men that lived in this temperate forest valley, and when the Whispering Wood was created, like monsters of all sorts started kind of like rushing out into the different valleys, and that tribe of men made their way across the water over to an island. And over the course of like hundreds of years, the elves and the humans on this island like developed a relationship, began to intermarry, and decided to like join together into like one kingdom. And for hundreds of years, that like one kingdom was very prosperous. All of a sudden, there was like a calamity. All kinds of monsters, dark ones, eldritch horrors, terrible things happening, cities on fire. Our ragtag team here has managed to escape, make it back to the mainland. They've seen that like the temperate forest is like calmer than when they left years and years ago. They did maybe like take a look through the Whispering Wood and discovered that it was not the place that they wanted to be. Before traveling down here and finding the Autumn Vale and settling right there on a hill. So they're looking to kind of like rebuild the culture that they used to have, hoping to maybe find some more survivors from their island nation that's been swallowed up by the sea at this point. And we will launch multiple colonies and see what we can do to like make them great again. Ew, gross. Can't believe I said that. But the Empire is here. They are like the closest kingdom to us. We're going to ally with them, and we're going to do what we can to like survive in this harsh world, exposed to more of these factions than they've ever been exposed to before. They had a pretty peaceful existence on this isolated island before it vanished, so they're all going to be like learning how to deal with that together. Okay, well, that's it for like introductions. I'm super excited to be back. I'm super excited to be playing Rimworld. I hope to catch you guys next time. And I'm going to start on the next episode right after this. So until we talk again, like as always, take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Bye.